I'm still in 2021. I didn't travel back in time. They got donkeys! But who was Jack the Ripper? Hello and welcome back to my channel and to a lovely day here in London. I had a nice day yesterday in Greenwich, really pleasant, and the weather's holding off. Little bit of luck on my autumn holiday here in London. My voice is a bit hoarse this morning. I'm not sure why, probably because I haven't had a cup of tea this morning. So that's the first thing to do, is have some breakfast and a nice cup of tea. And then I'm going to head up towards Shoreditch. Going to explore that area of London and head down towards Spitalfields and Spitalfields Market and see what I can find for lunch there. Because I really enjoyed my time walking around Borough Market a few months ago and yesterday in Greenwich Market. So Spitalfields Market is the next one to try. Hopefully we'll find some tasty delights in Spitalfields Market. But first, a nice cup of tea. I'm in Hyde Park and this delightful little fountain surrounded by chairs. Little cafe round the corner as well. Got a nice cup of tea. Ooh. The best start to any day is a cup of tea. It's rather pleasant round here, apart from the noise of the workmen with their leaf blowers or chainsaw or whatever it is they're using. I've got a sausage roll to go with my cup of tea as well. Do you like a sausage roll? Do you like a sausage roll? But I'm going to enjoy my little breakfast here, and then I'm going to head up to Shoreditch and see what we can discover up there. I've never been to Shoreditch before, never had a walk around, but I do know there's an old pub up there that's used in films and television programmes. So I've got to try and find that and then head down towards Spitalfields Market and find something tasty for lunch. Well, I've made it to Shoreditch. I'm actually walking down Horatio Street, and at the bottom of the road here is a pub called the Nelson. Very apt for a pub on Horatio Street. But just opposite the pub is a rather interesting road as well. It's called Ezra Street, and anybody who is a fan of the television programme Goodnight Sweetheart, starring Nicholas Lyndhurst, will know Ezra Street better as Duckett's Passage. And this is where the character Gary Sparrow travelled down looking for an address and stumbled upon a time portal to the 1940s. So I wonder if I walk down here, will I end up in the 1940s? Let's take a walk down and have a look. It really is rather nice down here. It's got that old feel about it, the old backstreet feel about it. And you can see why they probably chose it as a film set. It doesn't need actually much dressing at all. It's really rather pleasant. I'm still in 2021. I didn't travel back in time. But you can see behind me just how nice it is down here. Looking at the old architecture and the cobbles on the streets. Very pleasant. There are a few hidden gems around Shoreditch and down towards Spitalfields, where time has just stood still. At the end of the road, the character of Gary Sparrow went into the Royal Oak, which is just behind me, to ask directions. But the Royal Oak itself has also had an interesting past in connection with films. It's been used in films and television programmes since, I think, 1960s and 70s. An episode of The Professionals was set there in the 1970s. Episode of Sweeney, I think, as well. It was also used as a location for the film Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. That was a Vinnie Jones film.
Yeah, I know.
And you see it in so many different films and television programmes. It's the typical East End pub, the Royal Oak. Of course, the interiors are always filmed in a studio. But really pleasant to see that Ezra Street. Nice to walk down. I've watched the series so many times, and it really is great fun. I'm probably not watching it again. So there we go, Duckett's Passage, or Ezra Street as it's known, here in the top part of Shoreditch. But now I'll explore Shoreditch a little further and head down towards Spitalfields, and we'll see if we can find the City Farm as well. I know there is one down here somewhere, so we'll try and find that. Apparently they've got a cafe there. Should we get a nice cup of tea as well? That's always worth visiting, any place to get a nice cup of tea. So let's head on further and see what we can discover here in Shoreditch. Well, I've made it to Spitalfields City Farm. I've never been to a city farm before, so I'm really not so sure what to expect, what sort of animals they have here. But let's go and take a little look around, and hopefully we'll be able to get a cup of tea here. Done a lot of walking this morning, and throat's a bit dry, so let's see what we can find here. Spitalfields City Farm. Cafe, but I've decided I'm going to have a little walk around the City Farm before I indulge in a cup of tea and some homemade sausage rolls. But they've got pigs here, look, they've got pigs here. I like pigs. Oh wow. I wonder what else they've got here. This looks lovely. Such nice surroundings as well. And for central London, it's really rather peaceful here. Get the noise of the trains going past every few minutes, but it's really nice. And they got goats. They got some goats. Look at that. How cool is this place? How cool! This is brilliant, it really is. So let's walk round a little further, down by the side of the sheep and the goats. Got a train going past, and on the left-hand side here you can get a really nice little view of the goats. Oh wow! Oh lovely! Look, that's lovely. cool. First time visiting a city farm. Actually, I think it's the first time I've visited any farm. I don't think I've been on a farm. Looking at the animals, and perhaps I should investigate more farms. I like farms. And they got donkeys! I don't know how to get through here. They've got some donkeys here as well. Oh wow! I like donkeys. I saw donkeys the other week on Weston-super-Mare on the beach. They're really friendly. These ones are just, well, they're just, yes, they're in their little stable area, eating some hay. Oh, cool! They got donkeys! They got some donkey. I like donkeys. Oh, brilliant. Walk round the back of the sheep and the goats. Really, really pleasant here. There's a little sign on the donkey area. One of them apparently is called Derek. Derek the donkey. That's a good name for a donkey. But let's see what else they've got here. Seem to be self-sufficient, growing their own food. Got peas, beans, sweet potatoes being grown here. Just behind me. How exciting. Lots of sunflowers as well. Wonder if they use the seeds. And tomato plants as well. Absolutely fantastic place. I really like this city farm. It's brilliant, it really is. Let's see what else they've got here as I walk over the other end. Lovely little tree-lined path here as well, on an old cobbled street. I wonder what was down here when the farm wasn't, before the farm was built. Industrial units or residential area. And I come into the farmyard. How cool is this? Place for the animals there to rest overnight. Let's walk back. And they've got a duck pond. They've got a duck pond. Oh, wicked. This existed. Now I drive past, or drive through Shoreditch most days, coming up from Liverpool Street and turning right into Bethnal Green Road, and the train going past. So I always sort of drive past the area every day, but I never knew that the city farm existed. I've walked down Brick Lane in the past, but I've never ventured out other than go to one of the many Indian curry houses on Brick Lane. But they've also got the remains of an old street lamp here. You can tell this used to be a street. There we go, old street lamp there. And at the bottom it's got a date from 1807. Just walk back down this tree-lined little path. You can see the outline of the cobble streets on the ground. See the cobbled street. A little section in the middle, probably where a drain used to be, perhaps in olden days. It's now paving slabs, which is quite nice to walk on. How exciting there. See a duck pond, remains of an old street light. And a little children's play area as well, and a bug hotel. Absolutely fantastic. Nice to look after all types of wildlife, including native wildlife. I spent about half an hour walking around the farm, and on a sunny day like today, it's absolutely delightful. And I've got a cup of tea, so I'm happy. Oh, that's so refreshing. I do love a cup of tea. Anyone who's a regular watcher to my channel knows I love a cup of tea. But I've also got a sausage roll as well. I was talking to the lady in the kiosk and the cafe. They'd just come out of the oven. They look delicious. And they taste delicious as well. Ooh, my second sausage roll of the day. Came to about £11 something. So I rounded it up to £20 and gave them a little donation here as well. These sort of projects really are absolutely fantastic for the local community, providing food and everything else that the city farms do. Really must explore them a little more. They've got such an array of animals here. They've got donkeys and sheep, goats, they've got pig, they've got rabbits, and they've got a duck pond with some geese on it. Nice tree-lined paths, an old cobble street. I was talking to the lady in the cafe, and she said that the farm was established over 40 years ago as a sort of a community project. But they've got charitable status now as well, so they can generate funds and that helps them grow and survive. But they need public support as well. So if you're in the area, Buxton Road, just off Brick Lane, in Shoreditch, between Shoreditch and Spitalfields, then call into the City Farm and meet Derek the donkey. Enjoy a cup of tea. A bit of sausage roll. Absolutely delicious, it really is. Before the farm was here, this was old railway sidings. Probably explains why there are so many railway sleepers that have been repurposed around the farm. So I imagine where the farm attractions are now, the crops and the animals, that was once space for rolling stock. But absolutely, yeah, this is absolutely delightful here. I know I keep saying that, but it is. So I'm going to finish my sausage roll and my cup of tea, and then head on down into back down towards Brick Lane and in towards Spitalfields and see what we can discover down there. I know that just around the corner is Hanbury Street, which is one of the locations where a lady was murdered by Jack the Ripper. So we'll try and see if we can find that location and then head down towards Spitalfields Market, see if we can sample some street food. Might even find some tasty samosas again. I enjoyed my samosas yesterday in Greenwich, so we'll see what we can find down there. I'm going to finish my sausage roll. I do like a sausage roll. Well, that was absolutely brilliant. Walking around the city farm. I haven't had so much fun for ages. But I've now walked back down Brick Lane and into Hanbury Street. And this is one of the locations for Jack the Ripper. It was the morning of the 8th of September, 1888. And around 5:30 in the morning, a lady called Annie Chapman was seen talking to a man outside number 29. 30 minutes later, an elderly resident in the same block came downstairs and found her body mutilated. And behind me is the location of 29 Hanbury Street. This is where Annie Chapman was murdered all those years ago. And she was the second victim of Jack the Ripper. But who was Jack the Ripper? Well, nobody really knows. The person in the frame at the time was a man called Aaron Kosminski, but he was never charged with murder because the prime witness wouldn't testify against him for some reason. So nobody actually knows who Jack the Ripper was. In recent years, modern day sleuths have re-examined the evidence and come up with two new names, two possibilities for the identity of Jack the Ripper. The first was a man called Carl Feigenbaum, and he was a dock worker. Well, he was a ship worker, and they've proved that his ship that he was on was in port in London, in the London docks, at the same time as the Ripper murders. Was he Jack the Ripper? Well, he was executed in New York, I think in about 1901. He went to the electric chair for murder, and the modus operandum of that murder had similarities to one of the Ripper murders of 1888. And the other was a man called Charles Allen Lechmere. Well, he was a butcher. He lived nearby, so always had blood-stained overalls on. The perfect disguise if you're going to mutilate a body with a knife. Was he Jack the Ripper? Nobody knows. One of the old unsolved crimes of London. Really is quite amazing that we don't know who he was. Maybe he was a time traveller and came down Duckett's Passage. All sorts of people have been put in the frame over the years, from various doctors and members of the royal family to ordinary people. Were these murders committed by one person called Jack the Ripper? Who knows? Probably. But anyway, let's move further on, because there are quite a few old streets around here which simply haven't changed through time. There's one down here which I want to take a look at. Across the road into Folgate Street, the road I crossed was Commercial Street. There was a really interesting building on the corner, and almost certainly this would have been a street and a building known to Jack the Ripper. And it's quite interesting here because there's another old cobbled street. The road I've come to take a look at is Elder Street, and it's just down here on the right hand side. Again, it's all cobbled, and this is a street that's hardly changed in the last couple of 100 years. It's only the modern cars that really adds a modern touch to this street. But looking at the buildings on the right hand side, there's quite a few with blocked up windows, and I'm wondering if they were blocked up because of the window tax. The window tax came in 1697 as a way of taxing people who had large houses, and the fashion was to block up some of the windows to reduce the number, therefore reduce their tax bill. But looking around, there's quite a few actually with blocked up windows. It's a bit of a daft tax really, because it seems to have hit the more wealthy in society, and wealthy people don't like paying tax. They prefer to inflict more tax misery on the poor. The window tax was repealed back in 1891. There's quite a few really old houses here with old doors. Really is rather delightful down here. But let's head back anyway, and down towards Spitalfields Market. Elder Street's been used in a few films as well. They look for period houses and period streets. They usually turn to Elder Street. I think it featured in one of the Mary Poppins films that's come out recently. Oh, there's a blue plaque. Oh, I love blue plaques. Mark Gertler, 1891 to 1939. He was a painter, apparently. I guess I'll have to look him up and see what he did. It's not a name that's familiar to me at all. But at the top of the street here, back on Folgate Street, there's another row of houses. I think they're more modern and in keeping with some of the older properties down Elder Street. And again, they've got blocked up windows. They do look fairly modern, so I'm wondering whether they were built like that or they are actually older properties that look quite new. Anyway, let's head on further down towards Spitalfields Market and see what we can discover down there. Hopefully it'll be as enjoyable as Greenwich Market was yesterday. We'll soon find out. Wow, this is an absolutely vibrant place. And the smell of food in the air as well. Lots of stalls selling all sorts of things, and records and joss sticks and other things, and clothing. There's a really pungent smell of food in the air. This is really rather delightful. Let's take a little walk around and see what we can discover here, and try and find a few snacks. Do you like snacks? I had some snacks yesterday in Greenwich. I'm going to find something to snack on as well down here. Probably find another cup of tea as well. Quite fancy a cup of tea, a bit parched. It really is a warm day today and I'm a little bit parched walking around. This is really exciting. So many people here, so much noise. Absolutely wonderful. It's just gone about 1 o'clock and I think the whole of London must be here, all queuing up for food. Oh my goodness. So many people here. I don't think I'm going to find what I'm looking for. I'm certainly not going to queue up. And the noise here as well, it's quite, I'm sure the camera's picking that up, but it's quite quite loud, yeah. But so many people here, all buzzing around, all queuing up for food, sitting at tables. Oh my goodness me. Greenwich Market was so much quieter, and so was Borough Market a few months ago. Lovely and quiet in comparison to Spitalfields Market, but the queues are huge for almost everything. Even queuing for a coffee, or a cup of tea in my case, is huge. There's about 20 deep for every food kiosk. It's unbelievable. Wow. They're selling everything. You've got tools and games, you've got bric-a-brac, vintage clothing, more tools. There we go. But I need to find a cup of tea, I think. I don't know where I'm going now. Let's go back up where I came from this morning. Where I came into this section. It's just so much activity here. This is amazing. But I do need to find a cup of tea, I think. That's the next thing. So let's see what we got up here. And then try and find somewhere to sit down as well. Absolutely amazing amount of people here. I wonder if it's like this every single day. Vintage clothing here as well, and more vintage bric-a-brac. Walk down a bit further into the quieter section where I came in a few minutes ago. Still noisy here, still a lot of people around, but not as many as in the main food section. Wow, that really is buzzing in there. But I I can't queue up and in a queue of 20 or more people just to get a cup of tea and a samosa or something, or some other sort of street food. They had Caribbean there, Vietnamese, Turkish, as well as lots of noodle bars and things. I don't know where I'm going now. Let's head down here. The Spitalfields Market is built on the old site of the St Mary's Hospital and the fields around it. So hospital, Spital, and the fields around it. Dates back to 1197. Interesting little statue there. A nice little elephant statue as well. You can see that there. I passed one inside as well. Obviously from a charitable foundation. Yeah, the Sheldrake Trust rescue elephants and things. They've all got little plaques on the bottom which actually states that the elephant was rescued and the reason why. And that one was rescued because it had horrific injuries from poachers. Obviously disgraceful, you know, you want to destroy the life of a 1-year-old elephant just to kill it for its tusks or something. But these must be the elephants that used to be at Marble Arch. Yes, they are. These are the elephants that used to be down by where the Marble Arch mound is today. There we go. Herd of Hope. Yeah, Sheldrake Trust. That's what these elephants are. Well, there's an elephant behind me. How cool is that? There we go. Hey, there's an elephant. And there's loads of them around here. The Marble Arch Mound is where these elephants are now. So I knew they were moved, but I didn't know where to. And it's great to see them. On my last visit to London back in end of June, a few months ago, I passed some really nice raffia elephants, or not raffia, wicker elephants, down at St James's Park. I do like looking at elephants. They're one of my favourite animals. And there's absolutely makes no sense to poach them at all and kill them for their ivory. But these companies like the Sheldrake Trust and other charities do such sterling work saving elephants. Let's go down these steps and see what's down here. Gosh, there seems to be some ruins down here. Oh, of course, this is the old chapel here at Spitalfields, part of St Mary Magdalene's church. And this is the old charnel house. This is the crypt area. This dates from 1320. And it's all nicely preserved underneath the floor. There's a couple of statues as well in there. How fantastic is that? I knew it was somewhere around here, I didn't know where. It's really nice that they've actually preserved the ruins here under the road and the walkway. So many towns and cities just build over any remains that they find rather than actually preserving them. There's a few old buildings preserved in London. There's the Mithraeum and the old amphitheatre under the Guildhall. And St Mary's Spital here as well, the old crypt from St Mary Magdalene's chapel. Absolutely brilliant. It's only when you get out and about and start walking through back streets that you discover all these wonderful things hidden in plain sight. Absolutely wonderful. So you've got all the elephants around here from the Sheldrake Trust and these lovely ruins. I really like this area, it's really nice. Let's take a little walk around further and see what else we can discover. London's throwing up 1 or 2 surprises today. Just passing a little, these little temporary stalls here called Two Nigerian Boys. They're doing some nice little sort of chicken and rice dish. They give me a little sample as well. So let's try a little sample of Nigerian chicken and rice. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's nice. Oh, taste the spices in that. It's absolutely lovely. Chicken is so tender. The rice is just cooked to perfection. It's only a tiny little pot, you know, sort of tiny little pot of tiny little sample they've given me. That's absolutely delightful. There's many in London for the day because I usually come here, walk around and sample some of the other delights here in the market. There's so many different stalls. If I can go around and sample a few more, be nice. Oh, this is lovely. Two Nigerian Boys. If you're in Spitalfields Market, come and visit Two Nigerian Boys stall. It's absolutely the best. Just gone back and blagged some of the beef, sample of the beef. Oh, that's even better than the chicken. This is absolutely delicious. Oh wow, there we go, we've got that. That beef is just so tender. Nigerian food cooking is really delicious. I've had it before in so many other markets around the world. Ethiopian, Nigerian, Eritrean food is becoming really popular. And maybe I should wean myself off Indian food and try more Nigerian or African food, because this really is absolutely delicious.
Hello everyone, this is Aziz, Two Nigerian Boys. I'm here in Spitalfields Market. We are always here Tuesday to Friday. Come and have your jollof with chicken stew or beef stew. And once in 2 weeks we always have our specialty, which is lamb stew, which is really good. Come by, have a trial. If you like it, which I hope you will like, actually you will like it anyway. So I'm expecting to see everyone. Love you all. Aziz, Two Nigerian Boys.
Yeah. I've just sampled Aziz's cooking. It is absolutely brilliant. So please come by and sample his cooking. The lamb, the beef and the chicken are absolutely delicious. There we go.
Thank you.
From a loyal fan of Aziz's cooking.
Two Nigerian Boys. Two
Nigerian Boys. Come down here and take a look. Just made my way back into the market. Found a delightful little kiosk. Mr. Coffee and Mrs. Cake. That sounds like quite a good pairing, really. But a nice cup of tea. And a nice sit down, I take the weight off my feet. Been walking around for so long now, getting a bit tired. But I did enjoy talking to Aziz. He was telling me all about how he makes his food and how long it takes him to make it as well. He doesn't pay me to promote his business at all. These are my personal thoughts. I've tasted his food. It's absolutely wonderful. So why not promote his food? So go down and see Aziz and sample some great Nigerian cooking. But this is where I end this video, here in Spitalfields Market. I've had an interesting day. Walking around, tried time travel, didn't work. Lovely spot on the, lovely visit down to the farm and seeing those ruins of the old St Mary Magdalene Church and walking around the market here at Spitalfields. What a lovely day. So tomorrow's my last day in London, so another adventure awaits. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, follow my journey and join me for an adventure tomorrow here in London. Thanks for watching. Oh, I do love a cup of tea.